The theme of today's video is between a rock and a hard place. Now the first monster on today's schedule is going to be Basarios. If you're familiar with the Basarios, then I don't need to tell you anything. You already know how this goes. But if you're not familiar with the Basarios, well then I'll give you a little glimpse into the future. This is awful. First thing you're going to want to do is get all your ducks in a row. Make sure you have 20 whetstones, because believe me, you're going to need them. And you're going to want a weapon with a lot of green sharpness. While I make my way over there, While I make my way over there, I'm going to quickly talk about the Basarios. He is a very meaty boy, very tough, has a lot of armor in a lot of places. So for a lot of the fight, you will be bouncing. It's very hard to hit him in an area where you won't bounce. The main strategy that people use against the Basarios, and quite frankly the only decent strategy out there, is to hit his stomach. His stomach is the only unarmored place on his entire body. The problem with the underbelly is that for a lot of weapons, it's quite difficult to hit because it's low to the ground. The lance is no different. There are actually a couple of weapons that can hit the tip of his tail and not receive any knockback, but unfortunately for us, we're not one of the lucky ones, so we're going to be aiming for the underbelly. Thankfully, there are a few things we can do. They're not great, but we at least have them. Now, this used to be a common misconception back in the day. I don't know if it is anymore with the knowledge that people generally have, but back in the day, people used to think that this current underground form that he has used to do ×3 damage on hit, like a monster would take 3 times damage when they're asleep. However, this isn't the case. This is a special form that he has. It's not sleep, it is him underground. So instead, he takes 1.1 times damage instead of 3 times damage. Yeah, he likes to leave if you don't give him enough attention quick enough, but it's not a terrible thing. I'm gonna get rid of these Io Brief first, though. The last thing I need is to be poisoned by these guys. Alright, so you can hit him if you want. With the lance, I generally advise against it, because you will bounce, and sometimes he can hit you while he's jumping out of the ground like that. Bombs is a great thing to use when he's underground. So, there are two things you can do here. You can either do it the hard way, which is we're just going to poke the belly, and we're going to bounce. Block, hit the belly, bounce, hit the belly, bounce, rinse and repeat. This is a rough strategy, and it's slow, and it's awful, but it does get the job done. It does work. Now there is something that we can do where we don't bounce, and that is to use a move that we haven't used a lot of up to this point, and that is to charge. As long as we have green sharpness, we won't bounce when we charge into his belly. Now this is, again, very slow, but it is a strategy that we have. We can avoid some hits this way, because we won't be bouncing, so he can't punish any bounces that we do. So if you're not comfortable being close up to him and bouncing on every attack, then the charges are something you can do, until his belly eventually breaks and you won't be bouncing anymore. When his belly is broken, you do a lot more damage to him, and you don't bounce anymore. Yeah, you'll just have to watch out for his tail swings. They can be very annoying. So I'm just going to do a mixture of the two strategies. It's not going to be pretty. This matchup is horrible for good reason. We can use the charge here to avoid the wind press and attack him early when he lands. Oh. That's why it's generally a good idea to have a lance with a lot of green sharpness. Luckily, a lot of lances do have a good chunk of green sharpness, so you shouldn't struggle too much with sharpening. Yeah, unfortunately, the tip of the tail is just not a good spot for us. But if you can't do anything else, then you might as well give it some jabs. Can cut his tail. Now, I would like to get a demonstration of this if I can, but the very last cloud of his poison that he does is fake. It doesn't have a hitbox on it. So you can actually attack him slightly earlier than you think when he's doing his poison cloud. I would like to show it off if I can. Here we go. So the last one is fake. Oh, it kind of sunk to the ground there, so I couldn't really give a good demonstration of it, but I'm sure I can show it off at some point. He does that attack very often. There we go. Just walked straight through that last cloud. When you're blocking against his tail swing, try to aim backwards instead of towards the Viserios. It's a bit weird, kind of like the Yankuka. I think I mentioned that before. How you want to do some reverse blocks. Same deal with this guy. You want to do some reverse blocking against his tail. Now, I very poorly didn't bring any cold drinks of my own, which is a terrible choice, so I'll just have to suffer the consequences, but you should definitely bring 5 cold drinks for a fight like this. Yeah, sometimes that'll happen. You'll get stuck on his leg, like you won't be able to pass underneath him properly, and you'll get punished for it, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, this fight is just naturally going to be very slow and dull. There's really not much we can do. It's just the nature of the fight. Okay, this is the fun part. So when he leaves 7, he'll go to 6. Then when he leaves 6, he'll go to 4. 4 is a very fun area because we get access to the explosive rocks. And we can guide Viserios into these explosive rocks and get some much needed damage that we usually wouldn't get. Or we would get it just very slowly. So kill the Iopre first, because the Iopre can trigger these rocks. And they will waste your lovely, lovely damage. Wake him up, I'm sure he sees you. And just guide him into the rocks. Alright, that's another rock down. Now, an interesting thing about these rocks is that they are coded as monsters. So because of that, if we just leave the area and then come back in, our rocks are back, and we can use them all over again. So this is going to be the main way that I do damage against this guy. And I would highly recommend that you do it too. Abuse these rocks as much as you can. It speeds up the fight a ton. Now, you do want to stand very slightly away from the rock, just in case he decides to do a laser beam. It is very rare that a Viserios does a laser beam, but he does have access to one. So you kind of just want to be a little bit away. Don't stand directly behind it, because if he does charge, you can just guide him into it anyway, by running to the other side. He has a lot of swerve on his run. Back out, and straight back in again. Going to be careful here, because the Iopre can trigger these rocks very, very easily. I think he should flinch, so I should be fine to just attack. Oh no, never mind. Usually it's 2 rocks to trigger a flinch on this guy. Now that I'm out of rocks, I don't think I'll get any more rock spawns. I'm just going to go back to fighting him the way I was before. your fight takes too long, like mine has, then he will go straight to Area 2. Now, Area 2 is also very fun, and my cool effect just ran out, and I don't have any more, so this is very nice timing. Area 2 is not a heated area. But Area 2 also has explosive rocks, so we can use the exact same strategy that we used in Area 4. Nice. As shown before, this is a terrible matchup for the Lance, probably the worst matchup for Lance in the whole game, besides maybe two other things that we might get to in the future. His constant armoring of your moves, the constant bouncing, there's no real good way to hit him, it's just terrible. From one big beast straight to the next, we're gonna go straight over to the commander in the flames, the Shogun Senator. Now, a little fun fact about the Shogun Senator is that he can have different shells that he wears. He can spawn with a variety of different shells, but this shell that he has here, the Gravios Skull, is actually important because without the Gravios Skull, he cannot do water-based attacks when he clings to the ceiling. If he has the regular crab shell, he doesn't have access to those moves. So it's actually optimal to not have this shell. Oh, and I got hit. So while this is a crab, just like the Hermitar, he does have a significantly different moveset. It's not going to feel like a familiar fight if you're used to the Daimyo Hermitar by now. So he does have this dig attack, which is quite similar. A lot more deadly though, it has a lot more range. And he's going straight to the ceiling, so we might be able to see some of these water attacks. Here we go. This is a Gravios Skull exclusive attack. I would like to get rid of this dinosaur if I can. Don't need to be distracted by him. This boy is pretty much a chip king, just like the Daimyo Hermitar. I would advise trying to stand in a similar position at his side if you can. Oh, he has a different backup attack as opposed to Daimyo. It's a lot faster, and there's not a lot of startup warning you that it's going to happen. I've got a smaller crab here, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to back hop under his legs, which is a shame. It's quite a good strategy to be able to dodge his attacks, so I kind of have to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to be using a lot more block on this one. But this guy has deceptively long range, so you're going to be needing to block and dodge quite a lot compared to his pink brother. And already I'm getting quite low HP. He's been chipping me down. So with a lot more damage and a lot more range, I say a lot more drastically because if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can see, his claws are actually closed. When he enrages... Oh, he's left me already. I guess I was boring him. When he enrages, his claws open up and basically double his range on his claw attacks. It is very scary. Now, there are rocks in Area 4 that you can use to your advantage, just like the Viserios, but it does come with a warning. The Shogun Senator is unique in that if you break both of his claws, he unlocks a permanent rage mode. Not a lot of monsters in the Monster Hunter series have a permanent rage mode, but Shogun is one of them. He's doing a lot of digging here, so I'm kind of just running around in circles. I am going to abuse... Oh, here we go, here's rage mode. You see the way his claws open up to unlock more range for him? And now his dig attack is even more scary. Yeah, I'm going to try and use these rocks if I can. This is definitely not my favorite fight with Lance, and certainly not one that I'm good at. It's not one I've practiced for. I haven't practiced any of these fights today. I'm kind of just doing it on a whim and seeing how it goes. I think I should be fine though. Definitely be careful with this guy. If you can get some safe face pokes, go for it, but... Oh wow, a flinch from a Vespoid. I'm gonna use my charge here to create some distance. Get under his legs. Nice flinch here. Yeah, I can't back up under that second leg, so I'm going to be blocking a lot. Oops. The range is crazy on this guy. Oh, go, another taunt. I'll take it. And when he digs, I generally just say run. Oh, rage mode. It can happen so suddenly. He's so fast with it. Wow. That sweeping attack is awful. I'm gonna put my weapon away here and just dodge him for a second while I heal. Oh, I have to dodge, not dodge, sorry, I need to block the other way for that. Wow, I'm almost dead already. It just goes to show how quickly this guy can rack up damage with his quick chip attacks, because he doesn't knock you down, so you don't get any iframes from his attacks, and he can just pile on the damage extremely quickly, and you'll be dead before you even realize what's happened. If you're a lot more practiced with the lance, which I am currently not, admittedly, you can do a lot of very cool back hops to dodge a lot of his attacks. It can make the fight very satisfying that way. But for the sake of tutorial, I guess, I'm going to be blocking a lot of stuff. Like I imagine a beginner would. I imagine they would block a lot of stuff instead of trying to do fancy back hops. He's low HP, which I'm very happy about. He does have an indicator for his low HP, just like the Daimyo Hermitar. He makes this gurgling sound, and he has purple foam coming out of the mouth. I'll see if I can get a good look at the foam. Not always the easiest to see, but you can see it, and I usually don't even bother looking at the foam because he just makes so much noise when he's low HP. You can definitely hear it. There we go, some good damage here. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to his face. Nice. And that's the fight over. Although I think this fight is a lot more difficult than Daimyo Hermitar, I think I'm gonna rate it in the same category because I don't think it's terrible for Lance. I also don't think it's that bad for Lance in general. You do have a block, and depending on the size of the crab, you can back up through his legs, just like Daimyo Hermitar, to get yourself into that safe space. And your pokes do a lot of damage against him and can make him flinch quite easily. So while his speed and his range is a big trouble for you, I can't say that you don't have the tools required to beat him comfortably. Because Lance does have good tools against him. It's just if you're not used to the speed, not used to the range, and not used to the moveset, like if you're brand new against this fight, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble. But just the slightest bit of practice and I think you'll be good against this guy. Now the next monster on the list should be Monoplus, but since I haven't done one of these in a while, we should do something more exciting, right? You deserve a bit of a more exciting end since I haven't done this in a while and you've been waiting for so long. So, how about an Elder Dragon? Finish this video off. Now this monster is one of my favorite monsters in the whole series. I know some people don't like this guy, but I personally love him. Every time I fight him, it's a treat. So, first thing you're gonna want to do though, this guy has a nasty wind aura. Whenever you get close to him, he's gonna blast you away with his wind, which leaves you very vulnerable and open for attack. So you're just gonna want to poison him. Poison him does remove his wind aura and makes you safe against it, so it's gonna be the first thing you're gonna want to do. And I'm already getting beaten up. So his weak spot is his head, and you can cut off his tail, though he actually needs to be at a certain threshold of HP before you can cut off his tail, which is quite unique. Unlike the other Elder Dragons in this game, you don't need a dragon weapon in order to break his horn on his head. Oh, I'm almost dead. I'm not doing well so far. I'm so rusty, I haven't played this game in so long. Oh, I can't back up. I'm actually experimenting with this fight while I do it. I can't say I've ever done this fight before, to be honest. Or, I mean, not this fight, but like, I don't think I've ever done this matchup before, Lance versus Kushala, so I'm kind of just experimenting with it while I do it. And maybe I can discover a good strategy going forward. I definitely need to heal though, because this guy's gonna kill me. When I fight this guy, I love to aim for the head and try and loop knockdowns. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for here. I definitely don't play around with his wind blast, I just Superman dive them. I definitely don't want to risk getting hit by those. His lunge does have a very long horizontal range, so the back hops don't seem to be working out very well. So maybe blocking is the good answer here. His wind aura has activated, you can see it very clearly. Unfortunately, 2 poison knives are not enough to activate poison, so I just throw them anyway, but a flash bomb will do the job, temporarily. If you get a knockdown from hitting his head, like I just did, it also deactivates his wind aura temporarily, so try to get as many knockdowns as you possibly can to limit his use of wind aura. And also, breaking his horn on his head deactivates wind aura permanently. So that's sort of the goal here. Definitely aiming for the head. Usually when I fight this guy, I like to do it with greatsword or longsword. They're very fun to use. I feel like I'm not doing a very good demonstration with this fight against this guy, but since I haven't used this weapon against him before, we're gonna learn together. We're gonna learn how to do this as we go along. I'm pretty much just looking for a decent strategy to consistently hit the head. Once I find that, we're in the money, and we can make this fight very clean. Now, he doesn't have wind aura just yet, so I'm going to save this flash bomb. But as soon as he gets wind aura again, I'm definitely going to pop it. Oh dear, this is not good. I'm just gonna block. I'm definitely not playing with this. Oh, I needed to do a reverse block there, so that's something to remember. Okay, so you can actually block his wind blast. I honestly didn't know if that was possible or not, or if you would need a guard up. I've never tried to block it before. Well, I probably have in the past, but in recent memory I definitely haven't. But that's good to know that you can actually block it and it's not just going to go through. I haven't been saying a whole lot this fight. I've kind of just been taking it all in, trying to learn every step of the way. I've kind of been enjoying it, honestly, but the weaknesses definitely show pretty hard in this fight. And he's just got his wind aura back for the first time, so I'm going to be using this flash bomb and getting rid of it, I think. And his horn just broke. Fantastic. So wind aura's gone permanently anyway. But yeah, I've kind of just been trying to come up with a strategy and learn how we can take this guy on, and sort of an efficient way of doing so. And it's been not bad, but definitely could be better, I would say. Elder Dragons flee at 25 minutes, so just 5 more minutes of this fight and I will give you my thoughts. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that's what happens when you get hit by the wind blast, you turn into an icicle. And if you spin this stick around as fast as you can, that's how you break out of it. Just try not to break out of the ice when he's looking at you, because you do get stuck in an animation and you can be punished for it. Oh. And it's done. An anticlimactic way of ending the fight, I guess. So yeah, at 25 minutes he will flee if you've done enough damage. The horn break is usually a good indicator of knowing that he's going to flee after the fight and you've done enough damage. Overall, I'm gonna say, and this is a first impression, and I think in the future I'll do the fight again and give sort of a second perspective on things, but for now I'm gonna say this is a bad matchup for the Lance. The two things that stick out to me is the movement speed when the weapon is out, so it makes it hard to readjust. And secondly, the distance of your side hop is really detrimental in this fight, because it makes it hard to do a combo string into a side hop to dodge his charge afterwards. Usually he likes to charge when you're in front of his face. And with the side hop distance being so short on this weapon, it makes it really hard to do that. At the beginning of the fight, you could see that I was getting hit a lot because I was trying to poke his face 1 or 2 times and then side hop out the way of his charge, but because the side hop is so short on this weapon, I wasn't able to do that and I was getting hit a lot. So I think it kind of reduces the amount of aggression you can have against this guy. It's certainly going to be a lot slower of a fight compared to other monsters that you can do with the lance. I think you'll have to block a lot more against this guy. So my first impressions is that this is not a good matchup. You can do some things, but your DPS is going to be a lot lower because you have to play a lot slower, you have to block more, which when you're blocking his Wind Blast, it takes a ton of stamina away from you. Yeah, not a great one, I would say. That'll be all for this video. I'll see you guys in 6 months' time when I finally make the next one. I think every video that I've done with these, I've said I'll try and make it quicker, but then I never do. Yeah, sorry about that. And I think I say sorry every single video as well. But genuinely, I will try to make more of these a lot more often. I don't want to sit on just like a stagnant series. I would like to have this series be nice and complete and have a full thing that people can watch. But yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you next time.